afternoon once again, everyone, and greetings to you all. And whether this is your first time attending an Ed Tech Tuesday with ATMs and friends, or if you're a returning participant, I would like to say thank you all for joining us today. Today, our session will cover Tech It Easy, Declutter and De-Stress Your Tech Life. What a wonderful way to conclude Ed Tech Tuesday. My name is Pernell Allen. I am the Alabama Technology and Motion Specialist located at the University of Alabama at Birmingham, UAB. Go Blazers. Those other universities you see over there to the left are where other ATEM specialists and the regional in-service centers are located across the state. If you need to get in contact with me, that's my contact information on the screen. And if you're on Twitter or X, you can use that handle to follow me there. Use hashtag ATMPD on all social media platforms if you enjoyed this session or any sessions provided by ATM specialists. Region 5 serves the following LEAs from Bessemer, Birmingham, Empower Community, Fairfield, I3 Academy, Jefferson County, Legacy Prep, Leeds, Magic City Acceptance Academy, Midfield, Tarrant, and Trustville City School. If you have not had a chance to explore Tim Talks, this is our ATM podcast series hosted by Angela Clark and myself, where we explore exciting developments happening in schools across the state. Our aim is to raise awareness about ATEM and other state initiatives, highlighting the valuable services and resources that we can provide. You can listen to Tim Talks on Spotify, Amazon, or Apple Podcasts. Our latest episode, we interviewed Jeff Norris, who is our current Teacher of the Year for the state. All right, please consider joining us for our AETC, which is our Alabama Educational Technology Conference. It's our annual Ed Tech Conference, and this year's theme is Game On. Level up your educational technology, hosted in Mobile, June 19th to the 21st. Topics range from DLCS integration, AI, best practices, assistive technologies, and all things Power School. We also have a pre-conference, which will begin on the 17th through the 18th. This pre-conference sessions will include professional development covering topics such as assistive technology and STEM in the gym, where you can also get Teams approved PD as well. The mega conference this year is also in Mobile, July 8th through the 12th. So come on down and join the fun. And if you are interested in exploring Ed Tech professional development opportunities this summer, I encourage you to review the available offerings from ATEM specialists across the state via this Wakelet collection. I will paste all this in the chat shortly. And our meeting norms for the day. We are all learners. While we may have a different level of understanding of the topics, we are all able to learn from one another. We want you to be fully present. Our schedules are always busy, but it's important to take the time to participate in professional learning. So thank you all for being here today. We all work together. We collaborate to maximize our impact on student achievement and success. Every child, every chance, every day is a non-negotiable. So now with that being said, the reason that we're here today is for our presenter, which is Valerie Curtis, who was an ATEM not too long ago, but we'll give her an opportunity to introduce herself more formally. That's her contact information there, and I'm sure she will provide it with the slides that she will be presenting. Region 6 serves the following LEAs. You can take a look at that. And without any further ado, I will stop sharing my screen and turn it over to Mrs. Valerie Curtis.
I think that was the most professional introduction I've ever seen in my life. Like, that could have been a professional TV ad or something, Pernell. That was incredible. And you hit all the really important things coming up. You got it in the chat. Thank you for sharing all of those things. I'm really excited to be here. I used to be an ATM, and I say once an ATM, always an ATM, because I feel like I joined that family and I definitely have not left that family. I love those people that are there. There's such a great group of people to have on your side across the state. No matter where you are, there's an ATM. And I love that. And they're so personable. And I hope that if you are not a member of Purnell's region, you will figure out who your ATM is and you will reach out to them. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I am so passionate about this topic, decluttering and de-stressing your life. And so I was really excited to be able to join you all today. I am now the Region 6 Jack State Director of the In-Service Center. And so it's not often that I get to present to anybody or really talk outside of this position. So thank you for having me. And I'm very passionate about this. I'm really excited. And I hope you all will take just one or two things away that you feel are practical and manageable steps to get your life together. I'm always telling people, I need to get my life together. And part of doing that is getting yourself organized. I believe firmly that that is part of self-care. I mean, we hear self-care, and like go for a walk, drink more water. Well, I hadn't done any of those. But something I do try to do for myself is organization. I try to keep things neat and orderly because I've found that when things are neat and orderly, whether that be physically or whether that be digitally, my mind is clearer and I can focus on the most important things. So I'm going to share my screen and let's see. Hopefully you will be able to see everything that I can see. Let me get my bearings here. All right, so today's session is called Take It Easy, Declutter, and De-Stress Your Tech Life. I am from Region 6, JSU, and fun fact, we're no longer called JSU. We're called Jack State. We're going under a brand refresh, all right? So hello from Jack State. The actual ATM, she's sick today, and that's part of the reason I'm filling in for her. And I was excited to be filling in. I wasn't excited about her being sick, but your ATM specialist, if you are part of our region, is Andrea Taylor, and that's her picture and her contact information if you want to get in touch with her. And I'm sure this presentation will be available to you after today. So this is McClellan. I'm not on JSU's campus, excuse me, Jack State's campus. I'm actually part of the old fort. We have many satellite buildings, even as far up as Fort Payne. Fun fact, another fun fact, but my office is in this building. So, all right, and you don't have to do this with your hands or whatever, but you know that thing, put a finger down or put a finger up if you blah, blah, blah. All right, so put a finger up or whatever you want to do if you have ever opened an email and read it but then forgot to respond to it. Okay, that's me. Had 59 tabs. Okay, just insert a number. It doesn't have to be 59 tabs open at one time. Maybe you're that person sitting there at your computer right now and you've got 13 up and you're feeling a little bit of conviction. Put a finger up. That would be me. I've done that. You saved a file or resource and then completely forgot that you even had it or where you saved it. That would be me too. Need some organizational systems in your life. I can always have that, more of that. Not sure where to start with any of this. That's me sometimes. And need help getting your life together. Okay. Like anytime we can organize, I say, hey, we're getting our life together. So if you put any fingers up at all, I think you're going to get a lot out of today. So some new books that I'm really excited about, well, relatively new books. One is called Essentialism. I want to share this with you because the Pell City school system actually turned me on to this book. And it's about pursuing less and only what is essential. So one of the quotes that I found in that book that I loved is, what if we stop celebrating being busy? Like, it seems like every time I ask somebody here lately, well, how's it going? And then, of course, they answer, well, it's been real busy, staying busy. Okay, when did that become like a brag or a boast? What if instead we celebrated how much time we had spent listening or pondering or meditating or enjoying time with the people that matter the most in our lives? Like, how many times have you been in a conversation and somebody picks up their phone and starts texting or responding to an email and you're like, I'm here. Is this real? Is this really happening? Okay. Another quote out of a book you might want to consider is Make Time, How to Focus on What Matters Every Day. And this is not a book like find your why. Let's get back to your why. Like we all know our why, right? Like we know that this is what sets our soul on fire. We love sharing and learning. Like we've made a living out of it. We know our why. So this one is how do we make time? And it's about a former Googler. It's at or two actually. It says being more productive didn't mean I was doing the most important work. It only meant I was reacting to other people's priorities faster. Well, that one hit home because I thought, well, if I can become more productive, if I can be more efficient at the things I know I've got to do every single day, then that means that I'm getting my priorities straight. Not necessarily. That just might mean you're reacting to other people's priorities faster. And so, what I want to do is help you think about your priorities and are they really your priorities? Are they somebody else's priorities? And how can we sift away all the extra clutter physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever? How do we get rid of all the clutter and focus on what matters most? I love this phrase. Let's figure out how to do less with greater focus. Let's figure out how to do less with greater focus and maybe even intention. All right, one of my last quotes, and it's from the book Essentialism. What in the world is essentialism? And I'm trying to live this, y'all. Like, I'm not just talking about it, I'm trying to truly live this because my family needs it. Essentialism is not about how to get more things done, it's about how to get the right things done. I'm a teacher at heart. I just teach teachers now. But I tell people all the time, like I think maybe my last few years I might just go back into the classroom and just get my priorities straight, and filter out the garbage. It's about getting the right things done. There's so many things I would do differently if I went back into the classroom today. And I'm sitting there with y'all in all these trainings, letters, all the million trainings. I'm either leading it or I'm sitting there with y'all and I'm thinking, how do you sort through all of it? So the quote goes on, it says it doesn't mean just doing less for the sake of less either. It's about making the wisest possible investment of your time and energy in order to operate at our highest point of contribution by doing only what is essential. If y'all don't have this book, like you might want to just check it out and maybe just spot read it here and there. And then when you have a moment, maybe over the summer, really do a thorough reading of it. I feel like it's been life-changing for me. All right, so we're going to talk through some really practical things. Like I'm all about being practical. I want you to turn around from this little training and go back to your classroom or to your home or to your laptop and be like, that one thing she shared, I'm going to do it right now. So there's going to be some turnaround things that we want to do. So I have some tips. That's a typo. We don't have 8 tips. Well, actually, I probably have more than 8 tips throughout the presentation, but I have some fun bonus things I want to share with you, but I also have a lot of organizational things I want to share with you. So one thing is you have to be intentional about sitting down and saying, all right, I'm going to make this a tiny little fraction of my day, figuring out your organizational system. And I'm going to share with you mine. I'm going to share some things that I do. Make decluttering part of your routine. Name digital files clearly. These are just some of the things you're going to find. You have to have a naming convention. If you're that person that's got 47 untitled things in your Google Drive, I'm talking to you. Okay, that's me too. I had some, and today I'm not going to lie. I sat down and I took about 30 minutes before my day started, and I don't do this every day, but I took about 30 minutes today, and I got rid of all those untitled whatevers that are in my Google Drive because obviously I don't need them. I don't even know what they are. All right. Let's get into it. I need to move some stuff on my screen so I can see. In education, we are constantly juggling student information, right? Curriculum, pedagogy, schedules, professional development, all the things. All the medications that our kids have to go to the office and take. We have all I know because when they're in my when the teachers are in my professional development sessions in the day, during the day, and they're not even in their buildings, their little alarms are going off for all the 57 things that they got to remember. Like I see some people shaking their heads. They're like, yeah, exactly. Like I have to have an alarm for everything. Digital organization is one small way that educators and leaders can reduce cerebral demands. Okay, I asked you if you had 37 tabs open on your computer. What about your brain? Like, do you have the 37 tabs open in your brain all the time? Because I feel like that's me too. Um, and we only have a finite mental amount of mental resources available. So if you've got all those tabs open, like when your child comes up to you, your personal child at home and asks you a question and you're thinking about the 74 things you've got going on at school and you don't even hear them. Like my husband or I will do this and the other person has to say, hey, they're talking to you. What are you doing? And I feel like this couldn't have come at a better time because we're wrapping up the school year. Now's the time. Get uncluttered, get organized, and start the new year, the new school year fresh. All right, I keep preaching on the tabs. First of all, did you know that if you've got 13 or 87 or however many tabs open on your browser, that slows your computer down because every single one of those tabs is an individual unique process going on in Google and it's taking up all your memory. Okay, so if you're like, my computer's so slow, this school system will not give me a new computer. We'll close some tabs, y'all. Okay, one thing that will help you is an extension. If y'all use Chrome, I hope you're using Chrome. If you're using the Chrome browser, you can type in one tab for Chrome, and this is what'll come up. And what it does is if you've got all those open and you're like, I'm just not ready to part with these things, it will add them into a digital list that you can come back to later. I love this. You should try it out. So all you have to do is, if you're not familiar with Chrome tabs, you can type in one tab, Google Chrome or something like that. One tab. And it's the first hit, one tab. You can go there. And then hopefully your school system doesn't have this blocked. You can click add to Chrome and then add extension. It's going to look like a little funnel. And that's what it does. It takes all your little tabs and it funnels it down to a list. All right, one tab has been added to Chrome. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 tabs open. All right. And I'm going to pin it. So you see that little puzzle piece? That's where all your extensions live, but I want them to actually live out here. I don't want them to live under that puzzle piece. I want them to live out here to where I can see them. So I just went in and I pinned it with that little push pin, and now it's available for me to see. So I'm going to click on that little thing, and it says it has requested additional permissions, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to allow it. And now look what happened. All of those tabs that I just had open went down into a digital list that I can access at any time. I can share my list. I can do all kinds of things. I can name this set of tabs like all this is my national board stuff, or all this is my ELA unit 4 stuff, or this is my professional development stuff for the year, or whatever. You can name that group of tabs. And then there's some other options, like you can export that group of tabs out. And then look, it gives you a list of links and you can go dump that somewhere. Okay. All right. So now the button that I'm going to press is bring all tabs. Is that the time? Let's see. Shares a web page. What do I do to get it back open? Restore all. Sorry, I couldn't find that button. All right, so restore all, we'll just put them back up there. Okay, now I don't want you to restore all of them, but for the purpose of me presenting today, I need all of these tabs to show you things. And notice how it takes a minute for all of these to open back up correctly. That's because each one of those has its own unique process that's running in the background that's eating up your memory. Okay, so it's going to take just a minute for them to come back up. All right. So that's tip 1, is do something with those tabs. Another option is to bookmark them. Okay. And I have mine up here. You can see on my screen, I have several bookmarked, too many bookmarked. When I drop this little thing over here down, you can see I have way too many open. Okay. Let me get back. Here we go. I have way too many. I'm going to talk to you about this too. All these things. Anytime you open up a website, like let's say you go to trying to think of something practical. Um I don't know. Let's just say you found this article, Why Neuroscience and Technology Are Key to Helping Us Rethink How Students Learn. You're like, hey, I want to save this. You can click this little star in your address bar and it will stick it in your bookmarks, which is this bar up here underneath your search bar. Just click these little arrows and you can see all the ones that I have pinned or saved or whatever or starred. This is not efficient, okay? And I'm going to show you what to do with all of this. There's also this button over here to the right side called All Bookmarks. And this is something that I recommend you do soon. If you're this person and you've got a ton of bookmarks, I recommend coming over here, click All Bookmarks, and then it says Open Side Panel to see all bookmarks. That's what I want to do. And now you can create little folders to dump some of these bookmarks into, and you can categorize them. So if they're all Google Slideshows, make you a Google Slideshow folder. If it's all login stuff like Schoology or whatever, make you a folder for that. But you can, right here, click New Folder, and I can call this Professional Development or whatever. And then you can add endless amounts of folders. This is just like your Google Drive. There can be folders inside of folders. I don't advise that. I hate clicking through 14 folders to get to something. But you can tidy this up by categorizing them. One trick that I really like is when you save something like Outlook. You see this Outlook up here at the top of my screen? That's my email. Well, I know that that little blue envelope icon is Outlook. Look, I know that. I've clicked it a million times. Well, to free up some space on your bookmarks bar, you can click on it, right click, I think it's right click, edit, and just take the name out. Just delete the name. You don't need the name. Click save, and then look what happened. Now it's just that cute little icon. I did that with Drive. You can see the little triangle there. It saved as Google Drive. It had all these words, and all I did was I right clicked, I click edit, and then I took out the name. So that freed up some space. I know that this, even though it says home, my Jack State, I don't need those words in there because I know that little red icon is my Jack State. So I can go up here, edit, delete the name, save, and now it's just a cute little button. That way, now some things you may need, like I have multiple spreadsheets saved up here, so I'm going to probably either leave the name or condense the name. If it's a Google spreadsheet and you rename it up here, it does not mean that you rename the actual Google sheet. Okay, so don't panic about that. So that's another trick. Consolidate some of this stuff up here by getting rid of all the extra words. I was trying to see if there's, okay, here's my page up. I can right click, edit, delete page up, save, and now it's just that little icon. I know that when I go to that icon, it's going to take me straight to page up. Okay, so those are just some quick little tips for your bookmarks. Let's see where we are here. Okay. All right, the next thing is a tech hub. This is like my baby, okay? And I'm gonna go find the Zoom chat because I want to share this direct link with you right now. So this is something that could be life-changing for you too. How many of y'all have files on your desktop? files in your Google Drive, files in your Microsoft OneDrive, files in your bookmarks, files everywhere. Like you got them everywhere. You don't even know where they all are. And some files are here, other files are there. Maybe you're in special education and you're like, I cannot use Google. I have to use Microsoft but I have stuff in Google. Okay, maybe that's your situation. Or um maybe you just save everything in the manner that's most convenient at the time and it's all over the place. Well, let me tell you what I did. So that was me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. I did that. And what the solution that I came to, I don't know why I'm in the wrong account, but there you go. Perfect example. I've got multiple accounts. So I created what I call my tech hub. And I'm going to give you a copy of this. So not only do you not even have to create something from scratch, but I'm going to give you a template for this. So here it is. It's taking just a second because my computer's breathing really hard right now. It's struggling. This tech hub I created out of a Google Sheet. Now, why didn't you just create a Google website or just create something out on the internet or what? Well, this is private to me. Like there could be links in here to something specific that has, certain passwords or whatever. Um, I wanted this for me. And maybe you want this for you and your team, like a small team, and you want to control who has access. So, really, what I did is I went through all my bookmarks. I went through all the files on my desktop. I went through the files that I know that I need to access all the time. Okay. And it does not matter where they are. I put them as a link on my Tech Hub. So if I need to get to a specific report, it's here. If I need to get to something that um, let's see, State Department related. Okay, ALSDE partners. Where is that course catalog? I can never find it. Well, it's right there. Where is that prep information for new teachers? It's there. Where do I go to get to the Alabama report cards? It's a link. Okay, link out to the website. Where can I find those instructional service contacts? Because I can never locate it. I can never put my hands on it. It's there. Okay. So what I did is I created this one-stop shop for myself. Now it took a minute. Okay. Like I'm not going to lie. Because I had to go through my clutter and categorize it in a spreadsheet. I have a little cheat sheet for you so that you can make your own. Um, and there's also a little tutorial on how to fix the column size and the row size and how to pop a little image in, just like I did. A lot of my labels, all of my labels really, I'm going to give y'all this. I created in Canva. If you're using Canva, you're going to be excited about this. And you're welcome to just make a copy of mine. But these are those little labels that you saw in my hub right here. So you can see each little label. And all you have to do is click inside of one of these cells, like this one, go to insert, and then go to image, insert an image in the cell, and go pick it. Go pick it from wherever it is. Now I'm just gonna pick a random one. I don't really have one prepared, but let's do this one. And then look what happened. That image that I had just pops into that cell. It is that easy. And those instructions will tell you how to resize these cells. So, and that's something else that's super easy. All you have to do is right click on the column, resize the column, and you're like, well, I don't know what number. Well, I've got little notes over here So the Google Sheet, the columns you want to be 187 and the rows you want to be 57. Okay. So all that's listed out for you. And I will give you, I'll go ahead and give you this. And I'm going to give you a template. I'll give you this so that you can, I'll give you my labels so that you can go into Canva and make a copy or do whatever you want to with them. Okay, so that's the Tech Hub. Now you could use this for so many things. You could use it as a lesson planning hub, dump all your lessons into it. I created something similar for Pell City theme. And of course, I'm not going to be able to find it right off the bat. Pell City STEM, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to waste time. But we created something very similar in that we had each month and then all of our lessons that we were doing in STEM under hyperlinked underneath. Drop in the chat other ideas that you might see apply to this Tech Hub. Tech resources. I love that. I use this a lot for my tech resources. Computer science resources are listed on here. And I would frequently get an email saying, hey, do you have a list of makerspace resources that we could access? Guess what? I went over here and I selected every single one of these links and I pasted it into an email and bam, I had it. Professional development, testing resources, AI sites that you use, coding sites. I love that. Documents and forms needed throughout the year. This could be a tremendous help for those because in this format, you're not sharing it out there with the whole world. And so some of your forms that you might be using in your school, you may not want to share with parents. So this is something you have control over who has access to it. Share files with teachers if they have EL, English language learners, unit links for standards. I love that. iReady testing, diagnostic assessments. Yes. I love these ideas. Okay. So I just call this a tech hub. I wish I had credit for this. Like I did not come up with this idea. There is a group called and Carol might have to help me. I think it's Hello Gold EDU. If you don't know about Gold EDU, go search Gold EDU. There are so many resources, templates, all the things shared for free. And this is one of those ideas that I got. What you do is you go to goldedu.org and you join the Google group. Now, I'm going to warn you, you're going to get some emails from them, but it's not junk. It's all ideas and all resource sharing. So check that out. You may want to set up a rule in your email that all Gold EDUs go into a particular folder that you can look at later when you have time. But go follow them on Facebook. They are always sharing phenomenal ideas. Okay. This isn't just some janky ideas. This is good stuff. And I don't recommend them lightly. Like I don't normally recommend stuff, but this is one. All right. So that's the Tech Hub. I will make sure that Purnell has access to all the things so that you get copies of all this. And I believe I have in my drive I think I have a template. So you're not starting this thing from scratch. Now you are going to have to create your labels because your labels will probably be totally different from mine, but it's a easy step-by-step process. All right, the next thing, we've already talked about bookmarks. I kind of got ahead of myself. All right, the best way to figure out what we need is to get rid of what we don't, right? Like what is essential? How do we know what's essential? Well, we start getting rid of the junk. That's where I start. How many of y'all, and you just give a thumbs up or something in the chat, you rely on Google Drive pretty heavily? Anybody all over Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive? I mean, either one, really. Okay, so I'm seeing some yeses. All right, I hope you know some of the, or okay, now they're flowing in. I think maybe my computer was just struggling. Um, I hope you know the organizational features in Google Drive. I'm just going to go over them quickly. Some of them I had no idea about. Some of them I'm like, okay, I've always known about those. Okay, this is my real Google Drive. I probably have, look, 3.28 gigabytes used. That's a pretty decent amount. But let me tell you, this, this account was just created in October. I have hundreds, if not thousands of files right now. And my recommendation to you is to create 5 to 10 folders, not 50, not 100, 5 to 10. Right here. You can see I have my number 01, 02, 03, and that's based on my usage. I go into this one every single day. I go to this one almost every day. I go to this one almost every day. These are the folders that summarize my life. And let me explain them. So I've numbered them, excuse me, I've numbered them so that they appear in the order I want them to, not alphabetically. Okay. Obviously, NBCT comes before Jack's HIJ, Psych. ATEM comes before Jack State. But I don't want it before Jack State because I don't ever go into that folder hardly. So my most used folders are first. But then notice I have a quick share. Let me explain that one. Quick share. How many of y'all have ever been collaborating with a group of people and you're like, oh yeah, I'll share that with you, but you don't really want them to have like your original. You want them to have a copy. And then your drive gets out of control because you've got all these copies that you've shared with other people. And then it gets crazy because you don't know what you've shared and what they might still need access to, but you don't quite want to get rid of it because you've got all these copies everywhere. Well, my quick share is anytime I want to share something with someone and I've made a copy of it, I put that copy in quick share because that's the folder that I probably don't need to delete for a while because people may still be using those files. But at the same time, I don't want it cluttering up my stuff. So let me show you, I'm going to show you some tricks too for sharing that you may not know about. But that's what that means. Quick share is for all those copies I've made for other people. I don't need to delete them, but I don't want them everywhere. So I just dump them in there. Personal, all right. Personal, I don't mean like all the games I play on a day. No, I'm just kidding. Like personal is all the recommendation letters I write for people. Maybe it's my PLU class that I took with Purnell and Carol. Maybe it's I'm trying to think of what else could be in there. Yeah, recommendation letters is mostly it. And then anything that I'm doing that is work related, but it's not necessarily something that needs to go out here in this big folder. I mean, I keep a personal folder because it's inevitable that something like that ends up in here that I'm doing for someone else. Documentation. So anytime you have to document a situation, those of you who are leaders in your building or maybe a situation has happened and you need a place for those things to go, I put them all in documentation. And then reference, my 02 is reference. This folder is for things that I go to every day. Like I have a list of regional partners that I reference just about every single day. Well, there it is. Bam, it's in there. And I don't mean like a Google form or a Google presentation or something like that. No, I mean the things that I need access to just about all the time, that I'm clicking on and I'm looking at for some reason. It could be a calendar, it could be a contact list, it could be, a list with your kids' t-shirt sizes. I mean, I don't know. It could be anything you want it to be, but it's something that you're going to reference very frequently. Like maybe it's a pacing guide. Maybe it's, you don't want a folder for every single thing. You don't want a pacing guides folder. You don't want a unit plans folder. You want to consolidate some of this down so that you're not just so overwhelmed. Um, Inevitably, stuff gets dumped in here at the bottom, and you can see I have a few things that are just totally random, that I've got to do something with, and that's okay. It's kind of in a holding. You could even make a holding folder, but what I don't advise is you creating folders inside folders inside folders inside folders, because you'll never find anything. Make your top 5 or 10 major priority folders and be done. Also, of course, you can change the color. I'll show you how to do that really quickly. So like my Jack State is red for obvious reasons. I'm going to go down, click the 3 dots, go down here under organize. I can move it. I can add a shortcut. That means I can have it appear in 2 or 3 different places at one time if I needed it to. And I can also star it. I'm going to show you where those live in a minute. The things that I star are the things that I'm working on right now. Like they are my world right now. So if you've got a Unit 1 Western Frontier folder that you're working out of for the next 2 weeks, you're going to want to probably star that folder. And then you can just come down here and pick any color you want to. And then it'll make that little folder appear. Something else that's a neat little trick. If you just go to emojis, I think if you just go do a Google search, get emoji, it doesn't really matter where you go, but if you just go look for emojis on the internet, you'll find all these. Okay, and let's just say I want to add one of these emojis to my file name. So like, let's say I want to add, I'm looking for like I don't know. Well, oh, here we go. It's a Gamecock. We're going to go with it. I'm going to just watch what I do. I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to right click and copy. I'm going to go back to my drive. And I'm the person who has too many tabs open right now, and it's slowing down. So I'm going to close some. Okay, here we go. All right, so hang on, bear with me. That was the wrong drive. All right, so let's say my Jack State, I want to rename it with that little emoji. Watch what happens. So I'm going to click the 3 dots, and I'm going to go to rename. And I'm literally just going to right click and paste. Look what it does. It puts that emoji in the name. I mean, that's going to help me find that folder for sure. But just be careful because you don't want those emojis messing up the order if you have them numbered, okay? So just another little trick to help you find things. Something else that I just kind of want to briefly mention because we are coming up on 10 minutes before the five last minutes, is shared with me. First of all, you will never, ever, ever organize this. It's not meant to be organized. Don't even go here unless you know you're looking for something specific that you failed to put in your drive. Okay, so like I have stuff that I've scanned that I've looked at, like students have shared with me that I don't want in my drive, but I did want to look at it that day. It's all going to show up right here. If you've ever gone out and done a Google search on something and you found something that was a Google product, like a doc or a slide, and you opened it, it's going to show up in here, even if you just went out to the web and looked for something. So just know that this shared with me is never, ever going to be organized unless you have to go in here, just don't. Okay. All right. So one thing, though, I will share is if you need to add something to your drive from the shared with me, you just go over here and then you can immediately organize it. Make that part of your routine. Don't just go and make a copy or go and add it to your drive. Go in and actually organize it. So I want to add a shortcut to this presentation, and it's going to give me a list. Where do I want it? Well, I want it here in this folder. Go ahead and organize it for yourself. Another trick is, so that was something that was shared with me, is a mega presentation. And so I don't own that file. Okay, so it makes it very difficult if I want to put that file in my drive and then search for it because I'm not the owner. I didn't name it, so I don't really know what it's named. Well, first of all, you can always just come up here and search. 80% of the time, I come in here and I just search for what I need. Or if I have just a few folders like this, it's much easier for me to find exactly what it is. But let me show you a cool trick that I did not know until today. So let's say one of my colleagues shared this presentation with me and I didn't know it was called Mega or whatever. You can go into, let's see, I want to say it was details. Yes, go to file, details. Like, just kidding. I'm going to come back to this. Or I'll add it in my presentation after. Anyways, there's a way for you to add a word or two to the description of this that someone else owns. And when you search for that word that you added to the description, it will pull up this presentation. So if I couldn't remember it as mega, define, design, align, all I remembered was it was a presentation about engagement. Well, first of all, if engagement is in the presentation at all, it's going to pull it. But to narrow it down, I can add that word engagement to the description and it will pull way faster in my search. Okay. So I starred some things because those are the things that I'm working on right now. There's this button over here to the left called starred, and it will pull up. Listen, if you star everything, nothing, I mean, you might as well star nothing. So keep this tidied up. If you know you've got some projects coming up or some units or whatever it is that you're working on and you need quick access to them, star them and unstar whatever it was that you were working on weeks ago so that when you click on that button over there, it pulls up just those things. That's just a quick filter that you can create yourself. Recent also pulls up the most recent things, but even if you like moved it, it's going to pull up in recent. So I'm not as crazy about this recent button. Like, okay, Andrea Walker, I have not opened this headshot in probably weeks, but because I probably organized it today or moved it into a different folder, it's going to show up in my recent. So I'm not crazy about that. I much prefer to star things. And the way you star things is you go into your drive and you open something like this right here, click on the three dots, go under organize and click add to starred. And now that will now show up in my starred documents. Okay. A couple things I want to tell you about before we start wrapping up. Some other things that you can do is if you're like, I don't even know where to start in my drive, there's 500,000 things. You can come up here to this little hamburger menu looking thing and click there. And then you can order your files by last modified. And then go through there and all the ones that were created in 1873, go delete those. Just delete them. Okay. You can look down through here in this list and see the last modified date. And that will help you like delete some things in bulk if you should need to. All right. Couple of last things before I start wrapping it up. I love the ability to create checklists in Google Docs. They have added so many smart features to Google Docs. And what I love about this, and let me just show you how to create one. You just type turn in PO for book presenter. All right, let's just say that's something I need to do. I can come up here to this little bar and the little check marks. I can turn it into a to-do list. I could select the whole thing, click that, and it's going to give me these little boxes. Now watch what happens when I check the box. It doesn't go away. And I love that. It leaves it. Janice, my program associate, and I share this right here. And so anytime we need to add to it, we just add we share it so we see it in real time. And then anytime we do something, we check it off the list. And instead of it deleting it completely, it just strikes a line through it. So I know that that task has already been completed. And there's nothing special about it. It is just a Google Doc. And you just come in here and you type in whatever needs to be done, get a meal request form. You could keep typing, doing multiple ones. Click the little checkbox. And then when you hit enter, it creates a new one. So you just keep hitting enter. Enter grades, turn in t-shirt form, hit enter. Okay, and then when you do them, you just come through here and check it, and it strikes a line. Something else that's pretty cool that I love doing is creating a draft of an email before I send it, because maybe I want my colleague to read it and make sure my tone is okay. You can do that by opening up a Google Doc. And notice there are little smart chips up here. You can create meeting notes, and maybe something is already on my calendar and it just dumps that information in. Like this is who attended, these are the notes, here's my action items. Or if you need to do an email draft, the cool thing is I can type in Carol, C. Foster, at atlm.us, and Purnell, B. Allen, atlm.us. Okay. And then I can title it. I can do this. I can, type it all out. My subject, test email, and then I might need an attachment. I don't know. But the great thing is, once I've done this and I've let someone else read over it for me, and they're like, yeah, this is good, or no, you need to change this. You sound like you're being ugly right here. You can just come right here to this little M and watch what it does. It dumps all of that into an email. So it's ready for me. Whatever I typed, whatever the subject was, their names, and all I have to do is hit send. So just a few clicks, I can go from a draft in a doc to this right here, to sending it. All right, and my last, I could go on and on and on, y'all, for days about stuff like this, but my last trick that I really love, and then I'll give y'all a couple bonuses, is if you're using Google, or if you're using anything, really doesn't matter. But Google has something called labels, and something that like I have forgotten to follow up on, or I needed to make sure I contacted this person again because I was waiting on them. You can click add under label, create you a label like follow up, or email again, or I don't know. It doesn't matter what you call it. I'm going to create it. You can change the color of it. Look right here. I can change, I can click on those three dots, label color, and I can say this is blue. That's my alarm saying we have 5 minutes. And then watch. All I have to do is come over here and drop it on the actual email, and there it is. Email again. Or take that follow up. And now I've got these nice, colorful labels that'll pop out at me. So I will remember, hey, this is for follow up, or this is whatever. This is a parent email, or this is what, I mean, you can use these for whatever you need. All right, couple fun things because I want to do some fun stuff with our final remaining time is if you don't know about the confetti cannon in Google extension, all you have to do is go type in confetti cannon Google extension. And literally, it does not matter what tab you are on. You could be on the Pizza Hut website. And you come up here to that little extension and you click that confetti cannon extension. Guess what it's going to do? Bam. It's going to make little confetti pop out all over your screen. It doesn't matter if you're in a presentation with your students or what. And I believe it makes a sound. I can't remember. That's just a fun extension. A couple bonus things that I want to show you with your phones. If you have an iPhone, I know that I always have a horrible time remembering like what I see on Facebook. Like, let's say my child's school posts something on Facebook and it's got dates for band tryouts. Well, what do? You take a screenshot, right? And you leave it in your pictures, or you see a date, or you see a date and time or whatever out on the internet or whatever. You take a screenshot and you leave it in your photos, and then you go back later and add it to your calendar, right? Well, now if you take a screenshot of anything, so here's a real picture of a screenshot I took. I needed to put this in my calendar for my child's stuff. What you can do is you can press and hold your finger on this date and time, and it will automatically detect that it is a date and time, and it will create a template in your calendar on your phone from the picture. Now, you got to have like kind of a new phone. It can't be like an iPhone 7, y'all, but all the latest 3, 4, 5, 6 generation phones will do this as long as you have one of the latest updates. You can also, if you press and hold the text, you can also copy the text straight out of a picture. Who knew? Like here's what's happening. You can see me. What I did is I pressed and held on this Thursday, July 13th, and look, it pulled up July 13th, and it dumped some of the information in, and all I had to do was type in band tryouts and click add, and it added it to my digital calendar. There's a lot of new AI features built into your phone now, like copying text straight out of a picture. If you take a picture of a phone number, you can press and hold the phone number from that picture, and it will detect that it's a phone number. Another fun thing that I like to share is how many of you have ever been adding a series of numbers and you typed a number incorrectly? Well, now all you have to do is swipe your finger across the number and it will delete that last number. So if you're in your calculator and you're adding up 57 plus 38 plus 94 plus, and you get 74 numbers in, and you're like, oh man, I didn't mean to press that number. I need to backspace. All you have to do is swipe your finger across the numbers on the screen and it will backspace it. And you can just keep doing that. All right. I think that is probably all the fun things that I have time to share. I have lots of more, and I'll be glad to share those in my presentation that I share with you. You've got lots of shortcuts and other things that just kind of makes your workflow a little easier throughout the day. I hope y'all took one thing from today. If you took one thing, like my purpose has been served. I'm going to stop sharing.
Awesome, Valerie. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. One thing I would like to say is that I was hoping you got to that email. I want to declutter my email. That is horrible.
How about this? If you will hold on to the list of people in this session, I will be glad to share with you my email decluttering tricks because that has been a life changer just as much as my tech hub.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, you got some messages in the chat. I will stop sharing, but thanks once again, Valerie, and thank you all for showing up today. Look forward to Ed Tech Tuesdays with ATMs and friends starting next semester in September. We'll get those out to you, but I will stop the recording here.